my voice, you will not hear yours. I mean, you might hear like murmur, but you will not hear your voice clearly. Okay? And it will be posted on Haiku. So we're going to try our best to not use calculators on this portion. And I know that can be challenging, but we're going to try because this would be something that you would see on the SAT that you would not be able to use a calculator for. And if you had the calculator accommodation, it'd be like a 4-touch one. It actually is this one exactly, which we provide you. This one. This is what you would get if you were taking the SAT and you have a calculator accommodation. So if you have one on the non-calculator portion, if you're allowed to use one, which some of you are, this is what you would get. You would not get a graphing calculator. You would not get one that's able to do this without you at least knowing how to do it. Okay? All right. Let's give this a go. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. Now, parentheses, yes, it could be parentheses, but it could be anything that's grouping. So like brackets, anything grouping related. I love highlighters, so if you like highlighters, there's always highlighters in those bins 1 through 4. If you don't like highlighters, you don't need them. It's more of how you learn. I'm a color coding person. That's just the way I work. What do you think we should do first in this group A? Yeah, the exponent, very good. So please excuse, there were no parentheses, but there were exponents. So we would first do 3 squared. Well, what is 3 squared? 9. It is 9. So for those of you that did not remember, like, oh, I just don't remember what squared means. Squared means you take that number and you multiply it 2 times by itself. So 3 times 3. So knowing that information would help you. Now, if it was 3 cubed with 3 there, it'd be 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so make sure you understand what it means to be an exponent. So yes, this is going to become 9 in green. And like I told you when we were doing that pre-test stuff, I tend to color code things. In black is things I have not changed, and in color is usually something that I did change, just so that your brain understands what's happening. Okay, well, now we can just go in order. What's 12 minus 9? 3. Then we have 3 plus 2, which is 5. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Those ones are pretty easy. Go ahead and do the guided practice one for A. So do this guy. See how you do. See if I can find my tickets. And try to take your time and see if you can do it without the calculator. Where did I put it? My record. I need to go draw this guy. If you need help, please let me know.
I don't know how to divide a calculator.
Let's see. For this one, okay. 10 divided by 2. What times 2 gets me 10?
5.
Yep, that's it. Get your brains to work. Now again, you could have done 10 divided by 5 in your little 4-touch calculator that you're allowed to use on the SAT. But for now, let's just give it a go without and see how you do. I'm going to come around and see what you guys get. If you get it right, I'll give you a ticket. If you don't get it right, it's okay. You tried. But the tickets are going to be for that extra credit at the end of the day. At the end of the period, I will draw something. How you doing, kid? Very good. Good. It also helps me see how you're doing and if you need some help.
Do we put our names on here?
Yes, you can put your initials, you can put your name. Did you find your error? What times 2 get me? 2 times 1 get me. 2 times 1 is 2. Oh, what's 10 divided? So let's think, what times 2 3 times 2, 4, 6, 8. So instead of the 2, you should, which is fine. Again, I understand that you're used to a calculator, and that's okay. Okay, I'm just trying, you're going to get used to it. I know it's a lot harder, but again, I would rather you just do that with me in class, and then when you get to the SAT, if you want to use this, great. But at least you have that background knowledge where if you didn't have that And it would actually go quicker if you didn't use a calculator. Okay, you should have gotten 9 because 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then plus 6 minus 2 is going to get you 9. All right, let's do another one. What would you want to do first in B? Multiply. Which one? Like what numbers do you want to multiply?
5 times 3.
5 times 3, very good. Now I also see another group of multiplication, which you could do right away, or you could just wait for it to be later. But I'm just not going to do it right away. I'm just going to write it out. So 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, plus 2 times 4. Okay, now what would you do?
15 plus 2 is 17.
It is, but would you do that first?
Oh no, you would multiply.
You would multiply first. And again, that's why they stick this stuff on the SAT, because there you could get a totally different answer if you would have done 5 plus 2 first. Okay, so then that also gets me 15 plus what?
8.
8. And then what is 15 plus 8? I can't add, so it is 23, you're right. I am not a good adder. I'm really good at like hard math, but when it comes to simple math, I tend to kind of lose it. Okay, try B. Like I do one, you do one, I do one, you do one. Try to use it as a guide. Remember, you want to do multiplication and division first, and then you want to do adding and subtracting. Now, 17 times 2, I know. I'm challenging you, and I'm more than happy to give you a calculator, but I want you to just, for today, try to do it by hand. Look at, remember doing that. 17 times 2. 2 times 7 is 14. 2, carry it, and you get 24. Okay? Oh, it's not 24. What is it? I messed up. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. There you go. Okay, so if you needed guidance on how to do the multiplication, now you know. Like I said, I will let you use a calculator for the homework, but for note's sake, I'm really going to try to push you to use your brain a little bit more. Can't rely on that calculator forever,
Well,
depending on what job you're in. Alright, I'm going to walk around. Where did I put my... If you know me, I lose everything I touch, so just bear with me. Good. Good. What'd you get? Okay, so before you do the plus 6, you want to do the division. Because words of operation say that multiplication and division come first. So really you would have 34 plus what's 6 divided by 3? 2. So you have 34 plus 2. Good. Some of you are killing it. Yeah, that's it. Just gotta get the answer. You got it. Got it. You don't got it? It's okay. Well, what's 6 divided by 3? 3 times what number is 6? 2. So you have 34 plus 2. Did you do your answer now? Yeah. Cool. So a lot of you are killing it. Good job. So you should have, this is where people tend to go wrong. Knowing if you should do addition or division first. It's going to be division. Oop, that was supposed to be a highlighter. It's going to be division first. And it makes sense because if you did division later, you're going to get some weird decimal, and that's going to be weird. I mean, it happens sometimes to get decimals, but in these situations, we're going to make it easy on you. And you should have gotten 36. Good. Okay. Do you have questions on this part? 'Cause I'm going to move on unless you feel like we need more practice. Can you at least tell me what I would do first for C?
the exponent?
Yeah, the exponent right here. That's what I would do first in this situation. Okay? All right, let's do grouping symbols. So this one looks a little bit more complicated. These are ones that I definitely will see on the SAT. Ones like this. But again, you might be able to use one of those 2-touch ones, those 4-touch calculators. Okay, what do you think we should do first when you look at A? I heard, yeah? Yeah, the parentheses. So right here in green. So doing that first because, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, says so. Orders of operation. So we have 10 divided by, well, what does that in green do? What does that answer? What's 2 plus 3? 5. Okay, so again, in black, nothing has changed. The only thing that changed was what was in green. So all I did was this part right here. It is downpouring. Hopefully it's done before we leave. Okay, what would you do next?
Multiply.
Now, totally understand why you think multiply, and I get it. However, when it comes to PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, the M and the D go together. So multiplication, division go together. It's just whichever one comes first. So in this situation, the division is going to come first. So I know that can be kind of confusing, but remember when you come up here, I think I might have wrote it down right here. Multiplication and division, they're together. So it's left to right when you get to that kind of point. So what is 10 divided by 5 in blue? 2. And then I have 2 times 7, which gets me
14.
beautiful. Go ahead and do A on the guided practice and see how you do. And expanding your brains. I know you can use a calculator when you get home or when you're doing your homework, but right now I'm just trying to push your brains to do it a little bit on your own. Hopefully it stops by then. Good.
Oh, I gotta go on.
I don't know how to divide it.
Always do the opposite. So 7 times what number gives me 14?
It's 14, right?
7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is
So, 14.
2.
I knew that.
You got it. Good. Killing it. Awesome. It's going. Figuring it out still? Want me to give you a second? Okay.
Do we get the key, please?
You're going to put your name on the back or your initials, and I'll raffle them at the end, and you get extra credit or candy, which I haven't gotten candy yet, so just extra credit. Good. You got it. B and C can be a little challenging. Good. You doing good? You're gonna get it once you get that. Okay. You guys are doing great. So here, you added these together, you got 14. You added these together, and you get 7. When you do that,
2.
you get 2. A good trick for those that struggle with division. I know division can be hard. Do the reverse. 7 times what number gets me 14? It's 2. Okay, 7 times 2 gets me 14. Okay, this is where it could get a little challenging because we have all this stuff going on. Remember, most of the time I feel like people just don't know what that line means. That's division. Whenever you see a line, that really means division. Okay, what would you think we should do first in this situation? The parentheses. So let's go inside the parentheses. What part inside the parentheses should I do first?
2 and 3.
2 and 2. 2 in the exponent.
2 in the exponent. See, I make you guys say your math terms. Okay, so 2 squared. Oops, I pressed something. I pressed a button. Okay, well, what is 2 squared?
4.
4, because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so then I'm just going to rewrite everything, and I know some of you probably could skip some steps, 100%. You guys can treat the top and the bottom of a fraction like they're different. So that was the first thing I did on the top, but what about the bottom? I can just go ahead and multiply that out. They're kind of like separate problems. So what is 2 times 7?
14.
14. Okay. All right, then I'm going to do the parentheses. I'll do that in purple. What is 4 plus 3?
7.
Good. I'm going to bring everything down. Again, for some of you, you might be able to fly through this without doing all these steps, and I would 100% encourage it. I would never get mad at you for skipping steps if you could do that. I'm just doing it for the sake of notes. What is 7 times 4? 20-something.
It's
7.
Close. 28.
That was close.
Okay? And that extra math, which I didn't go over for some of you that weren't here, we're going to do multiplication eventually, and hopefully you get better at your multiplication table. Same with division, okay? Because you want to be quick with those simple skills your whole life, because if you're at a job, you wouldn't want to ask someone for a calculator if you were doing something that was simple like that. Okay, this one's a little bit harder unless you feel like you just kind of need to know it. What's 28 divided by 14?
4.
Not 4. A little lower.
2.
2.
What? Oh.
Okay? And that's something if you needed a calculator for, that's fine. Okay? I'm going to move on to the next one just because I want to make sure that we get through what we need to get through. Let's do C. All right, lots going on here. We got brackets, we got parentheses, we got an exponent. What do you think?
Parentheses.
Yep. Let's go to the parentheses inside the bracket. So this whole piece could be done first. Now, because they're all addition and subtraction, you can just go left to right. I'm just going to rewrite the things out that I need. So I have 16 divided by something. Okay. Well, what is 2 plus 7? Minus 1. 8. So 16 divided by 8. I'm going to close that up and square it. So the only part here, I should probably do a different color for the 8. The only thing that I did right there was that green portion. Okay, now we're going to still go into our bracket. What is 16 divided by 8? 2. And keep the square with it. The whole entire year I will say this. Try to stay as organized as possible. You wrote this highlighted part, you wrote. Well, this 2 doesn't disappear. It's got to continue to be there. 2 squared really means 2 times 2, which is 4. You're killing it. Good job. Okay? All right. Okay, cool. I want you guys to do C. This guy.
So when are the SATs?
In April, usually. So you got a while. Okay, we will do stuff to help you. Now, I'm not someone that's going to teach to the SAT, but we will make sure that you have practice to get yourself prepared. We will sign up for Khan Academy. We will be doing some Khan Academy in here, not too much, just for review stuff. But there is practice SAT on there, individualized, all for you. I wish I would have had that in high school. It would have been awesome. Okay, take your time. Maybe ask a partner if you need to. Like, hey, I don't know what this divided by this is. Like, what did you get? Like, that's okay. I gotta find my other one. All right, let's see what you're supposed to get. Yeah. You got it. Boom. Is it working out in that? Good. Good. Awesome. We doing everything good? Awesome. What are you doing, Brian? How you doing over here? Pretty close. See. What is 12 divided by 2? Or what times 6? Good. All right, you guys are doing great. Again, it's okay if you're getting some of them wrong because the basic math skills. You will get better, I promise. The more you expand your mind, the more you push yourself to learn it and not rely on the calculator, you will start realizing in a couple of weeks you're actually getting better at it. Okay, so I know it might be hard and frustrating that you don't know like what 12 divided by 2 is or what 14 divided by 2 is. It's okay, but you will get better at it. You can't expect to just do awesome things right away. Okay, and you should have gotten 8, which I feel like all of you did. All right, we're going to do like one of these and then we're going to do some practice. Okay, this I cannot express enough. When I was looking at your AccuPacer, if you're going to JJC or Moraine, when I was looking at your SAT, the AccuPacer is like the entrance exam for you to get into JJC. You have to take it if you want to go there, and they will tell you, hey, you belong in this class. And some of you, hopefully none of you, might have to take a high school level class, math class, in order for you to get into their JJC or Moraine Valley 101 class or whatever the basic math class is. And you have to take a math no matter what if you're going to go to any college or university or community college. Okay, but this was on there a lot. And that's why I'm so happy to bring it the first week of school because we're going to keep practicing it, because when it says evaluate, that just means take what you know and plug it in. Okay, so I'm going to color code things. So if you are a highlighter person, I'm going to be highlighting. So I'm going to be plugging in A, and I'm going to be plugging in -1, and I'm going to be plugging in 4. Okay? So here I go. I'm going to color code it for you. Whenever you see a negative, like B, whenever you see a negative, my recommendation for you right away is to make sure you keep it in parentheses. Because that negative, especially in your calculator, if it's not done correctly, it could be wrong. And I'll show you an example on the next one. So A, so we have A squared, so we have 2 squared. So I'm going to have 2 squared. When there is something that's right next to each other like this, remember that means multiplication. Okay? And then we have minus, I'm keeping this the same. And then I have -1 plus 4. Now in this situation, it would have been okay for you to not have the -1 in parentheses, but it's just nice to keep it in a habit. Okay, so I'm going to go to the parentheses first. What is -1 plus 4? 3. Okay, really that just means 4. Oop, 4 minus 1. I fall a lot and trip. Okay. So I have 3 times. Now you could skip a step if you knew that the squared was coming next. What is 2 squared?
4.
Good. 2 squared really just means 2 times 2. Minus, and then you guys told me it was 3, right? Okay. Now we're here. Would I do the multiplication or the subtraction first? Go ahead. Oh, I thought it was good. Multiplication. So in purple, what is 3 times 4? 12. 12. Minus 3? 9. Very good. Okay? Again, you will get better. All right, I want you to do A and try your best. The hardest part, in my opinion, is just plugging them in and making sure that they go in the right spots. And I'll leave mine up for you guys to look at. And then we're pretty much done for the day. We're just going to do maybe one more thing, and that's it. One more practice problem.